And so, for the first time in this year's BoyleSports Irish Derby, we saw all the remaining Derby competitors in action on the one night. 45 in all were in action tonight. Unfortunately, we had 3 non-runners, but now we're down to the final 24. A great night's racing, Kevin. Obviously, the track wasn't as slick as previous weeks, but great racing nonetheless.
Yeah, look, times aren't that important, but I made it about 30 back tonight. I think that's the fairest gauge I would have had on the previous night's racing. We've seen, yet again, we saw Clares Rocket, brilliant in victory, Sonic weaving in and out, very, very impressive, and then we had one big name sort of going out then in Kilgraney Hero. So it had everything. Times weren't as flashy on the clock, but look, all the big guns are still there in my opinion.
Bar the Kilgraney Hero incident, no real big names crashing out. You know, a few decent names obviously crashing out, but the real top 3 or 4 in the market are mainly still there, barring Kilgraney Hero. Yeah,
the biggest names coming into tonight have all sort of kept their hat in the ring, and I think it's going to be a massive draw, and it's going to be very, very important. Not a many wide seeds, so I think a lot of the wide seeds are going to probably get trap 6. So there could be a couple of inside seeds with a couple of tricky draws.
Yeah, although the wides did run well tonight, a lot of the outside dogs got involved.
Yeah, they did. Look, I think there was 3 or 4 winners from trap 6 alone. So yeah, no, plenty of good dogs in the wide.
Okay, we'll start the opening heat, and this went to Siderian Fern. She'd run her heart out in defeat the last 2 nights. Tonight she got to the front early, and that was the key. Burnt Beans was the favourite here, but for me the same sparkle wasn't there this week. He didn't go into overdrive into the corner like he has done the previous 2 weeks, but he still qualified in third. But it was Siderian Fern's night. She hit the front, was never going to be picked up in reality once doing so.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an off night for Burnt Beans. I think he summed it up there when he hit the ground. There was no instant go. Look, he kept his name in the ring, and when a dog doesn't produce its very best, it's important when he just keeps qualifying, and he done that tonight. Siderian Fern, this little bitch has ran her heart out now 3 weeks in a row. She was 16-1 in the opening round. Nobody knew really that much about her, and she's absolutely flying at the moment. The time of 29.98 wouldn't be sensational when it came up initially, but as the clocks went on, there was no real outstanding time. So a very, very good one. Ballymac Sarah Joe, she just does the same thing the whole time. If you keep giving her trap 1, she's going to be so hard to knock out, because she doesn't fly to the corner, but she'll keep coming on very strongly towards the end. And look, Burnt Beans wasn't flashy. One of my bankers tonight, I really, really fancied him tonight. It just didn't happen, but look, he's still in the quarterfinals of a derby.
Indeed, and females finishing first and second in that one for the ladies. Fresh from the sesh, one of the English raiders went out in that race, ran well in fourth, but it wasn't meant to be for him. He had to turn the first 3 because he's not a stout stayer.
No, he's not. Look, he ran a sprint competition before coming here, so he needed to be turning in first or second. Didn't happen for him tonight, but look, he's a young dog with a bright future.
Favourite backers were in Clover in the second heat. Here, Tyrur Harold stood out as the one to beat. Obviously, Cable Bay, and coming out of trap 3, made his task even easier. He had a bit of room to run in the early yards. Wasn't the fastest in the stride, but really powered into the corner, took up the running and went on to score quite handily. JT Barracuda running well in second, and back in third, Black Farron. Tyrur Harold is clearly a big player in this competition. 29.6 tonight, a big run.
Yeah, it was a massive run tonight. Damien has made no secret about how much he likes this dog, and it really is coming to fruition. He's staying better every run he gets. He's continuing to clock in around that 29. That was a great run tonight. That was probably a 29.30 or 40 run for me. That was probably his best run of the competition so far. Very, very impressive. Barracuda's no slouching behind, and he kept them well the whole way. So I had a little bit of a concern about him the first time I saw him running up here, Harold, that he might not stay strong enough to win a derby. I have no issues or qualms with that now. I think he stays the 550 no problem. He's a big, strong young dog who's going one direction, and that's better. Every round he's getting better, and I think he's going to be a massive danger to the likes of Clares Rocket and to Sonic. A real player in this competition. JT Barracuda ran brilliant to qualify in second. He turned a couple of lengths behind Harold, and he maintained that distance behind him, ran on strongly. And Black Farron, another one of those that I think is improving every round, and 29.57 last week. He's continuing to run really well for Graham Holland too. Yeah,
Black Farron just keeps going at the one pace. He's just a strong running greyhound. You wouldn't say he's a great starter or a great finisher. He just keeps going at that one solid pace. Tyrur Harold, just going forward tonight, he didn't flash out of traps. He got there by the corner, but he is going to have to start trapping very well if he's going to win the derby though.
Yeah, look, that's where his best attribute is. He's brilliant away from the boxes. That's 2 weeks in a row he hasn't flashed out, but look, we know he can do it. He's a 3.36 back to back up here, so those sort of sections, if he keeps doing those runs, he's going to be a massive player.
Yeah, a couple of qualifying rounds to come, and if he did it in the final, that'll be enough. On now to heat 3, and here was trap 6 Native Chimes, another dog that didn't exactly come away racing. Trap 6, the widest of the inside seeds, 6 inside seeds here of course, but he showed great pace, and once turning second, we've seen what this dog can do 2 to 3. It's amazing how he really races that back straight, and tonight took it up into the third bend and won well. Clonakid had set the pace, but Native Chimes was certainly the dog to take out of this race.
Oh yeah, look, Native Chimes has been a great servant for Johnny O'Sullivan, and he's just so good, he's so consistent, he never runs a bad race. Clonakid came out through the bars tonight. Honestly, a sectional, he was out like a rocket, and the roar that went up when Native Chimes went through up into third bend was unbelievable. He was a costly one for us. Mildy and Skippy's getting some tune out of this dog. He was a dog that I know we commented on how he punted him in the first round. Won a messy race last week, still keeping his name in the hat, but Native Chimes, so consistent, so strong, and another one that's going to be knocking on the door.
Yeah, Mildy and Skip there. I was just talking to one of the owners, Mark Hickey. He was suggesting he's probably a dog that'll break better from the middle. If he was to get 2 or 3 in the next round, it wouldn't be a problem. Native Chimes though, Pat Norton, one of the owners, I was speaking to him. If this dog wins the Derby, I don't know if Pat will survive, to be honest.
Yeah, no, well, I'll be standing fairly close to him at the bar, I'd say, if he could manage to win it. But look, it'd be great. Like he's such a good, strong dog, and a record of 26 races, 9 wins and 10 second place finishes. That tells you all you need to know, and that's running through derbies and concurbies. He's always mixed it at the very highest level and always been in the frame.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him in the latter stages of Derby for the men involved. On now to Heat 4. I've no doubt you'll enjoy talking about this one. JT Jet, the old warrior, the evergreen performer, former English Derby winner, Easter Cup winner. He's the current Dundalk International winner. This dog gets better through competitions. Now tonight he was gifted the room at Shelbourne Park. That was great. Skywalker Manor diving inwards, but this fellow has the engine, he still has the power. It's all still there.
Oh, it is, look, and I suppose going down the back straight, the race was sort of over after about 50 yards when he came away in a reasonable position. 5 dived in. He was always going to turn within 2 or 3, and with all due respect to the other 4 competitors, they probably weren't as strong as him coming home. Skywalker Manor was very, very good in front, and good to see him coming back to somewhere near his best as well. And also Hovex Mick, he's a dog that is just keeping plugging away as well, similar enough to the one we were talking about earlier. He just keeps on doing the same things, and he's a strong enough young dog with only 14 races under his belt. But for me, Ted is special. Like he really is. And I know I've said it nearly in all these interviews that if you are looking for something each way, I've always said he's such a good dog to back each way, because he always seems to be in the first 3. He's so hard to keep out of a competition. He's proven track record that he does get better with the rounds, and because he's a wide seed, he always stays out of trouble. He's very, very intelligent, and I'm hoping with my heart and my head that he can keep on going.
Heart and head. JT Jet. Anyway, he's in the final 24. That's a bit. Hopefully next week you'll be talking about how he's in the final 12. On now to Heat 5, and here went to Drooby's Kabai. This was a dog, as we keep referring to, he went 10, 11 and 0, and all of a sudden he's won 5 of his last 6 or something along those lines, and ran very hard to win tonight. Didn't lead around the corner, but showed great heart to get there. Yeah,
look, he has won 5 in his last 6, and I was talking before this race, and I said if there was one dog still at a decent price in this derby that I wanted to back, he would nearly be the one. He's doing everything right. It's all just starting to click with him. His ability has always been there, but now he's starting to get the confidence. His tail is up really now. Good news, unlucky in defeat, slight bump at the first bend, checked a little bit at the third bend as well, unlucky not to win. Swidden's Bray, another one for Peter Cronin. Delighted to see Peter with that one through. The 3 big guns in this all went through, but Kabai, I think if you are looking to back something, I don't see him being single figures. I think he could probably still be double figure price. I think he's worth a few quid.
Yeah, there are 3 fast greyhounds that went through in that heat, but Swidden's Bray is going to have to start trapping. The same for Good News. He's going to have to start pinging it, because to compete with the very, very best, there's no question he has the pace. He just needs to be doing it right at boxes. That's the key.
Yeah, and I just think he could have probably drove the first bend a little bit stronger tonight. He just eased off slightly, and I think that cost him the race. But he's all the ability, but he just needs to put it all together.
A word for Droopy's Noah. He was a bit unfortunate not to qualify there. He's millimetres from going around clear first or second in the race, and just missed out.
Yeah, that's the joys of racing. Sometimes it works for you, and sometimes it doesn't. But Connections won't be too happy about that tonight.
And so to Heat 6, and this was where the Rocket had his chance to shine. I would say people that were holding on to anti-post vouchers got a little bit of concern. He charged the traps quite badly. The hare had only set off and he charged the traps quite badly, and then sort of slightly stumbled the traps, but then after a yard or 2 it's business as normal, and he emerged a comfortable winner, 29.58. But just 1 or 2 little points of concern there before the hare even arrived, perhaps.
Yeah, he did. He uncharacteristically, I don't think I've seen him doing it quite as bad. He really did charge the traps tonight. Slightly went down when he came away, but to halfway down off the second bend, he was just so impressive. He just put lengths between the dogs, and that's his ability. He just is so good. But I'm sure everyone else going home tonight, ourselves included, who he's a massive loser for us. Just even tonight, just gave us something that you can say, well, maybe you can get him beat. I'm sure all the other connections were looking at the 29-15 run and the 29-16 and how he was just absolutely hammering everything that came in his path. Tonight, he's within touching distance of other dogs on the clock. Like Harold, there's only a couple of spots off him. We saw him doing what he did at the traps. If you had to put in a stronger race, he won't get away with charging like that and things like that. So maybe it's a chink, but look, we all have to look for something because he's just that good. His ability is undeniable. Pension plan much better tonight from him. I know he's beaten 7 lengths, but in fairness to him, he was 7 lengths behind him at the second bend and he kept it at 7 lengths. So I thought that was much better out of him. Drums to Snare, a horrible draw on 5, being an inside seat after a win last week at a big price. Will be a big price next week, but I'm sure Connections are delighted to be in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. All we said about Clares Rocket, at the same time he does 29.58 in a track we were probably thinking it was 30 spots slower than last week. It's 29.28. There's nothing wrong with that. No,
and that's it. Like that just shows you how good he is. That when he does still nearly probably the fastest time of the night, he beats a dog 7 or 8 lengths in the third round of the Derby, and yet we're saying, oh, that gives someone a reason to doubt him. And that's how good he is. That he's that far ahead at the moment that we need some glimmer to try and look to get him beat. But look, he's a sensational dog, and if he keeps starting the way he's going to be very hard to beat.
It was that man Graham Holland again in Heat 7, and this is another one of his big guns. Sonic didn't lead obviously enough, showed great pace down at the third bend. He just going into the third bend, he said, oh, I need to put this one to bed, and he just drove into the third bend and forced his way through on the inside, which was a bit of a surprise to me, but went on to win quite handily in the finish. But again, a dog that's going to probably need to start trapping a bit better. Eased off in the corner, probably the right thing to do tonight with the one dog swinging off.
Yeah, look, and I didn't think I'd ever see Sonic going up the inside there, but it was unbelievable track craft out of him. This dog was the performance of the night for me. I was that impressed with him. He just seems to be doing everything right. He came into fruition here in the Derby last year, went off favourite, things didn't happen to him on the final night, but whatever it is about Shelbourne, and in the months of August and September, this dog just comes alive. He's doing the exact same thing again. Bucko's Dream, we know what he's all about. He's blistering early pace. He's going to keep qualifying with that early pace. Whether or not he's good enough to probably win a Derby, I don't think he gets home strong enough for that. Hay Bound, massive price again tonight, and another will be a massive price in the next round. But look, Sonic for me, most impressive tonight, only a length and a half behind Clares Rocket, and like you said, he had to do it a completely different way than what Clares Rocket did it tonight, and that's what I'm coming to. Like, if Sonic had got a clearer run and started a little bit quicker, he's only a length and a half behind Clares Rocket, and he was weaving in and out. So that's where I'm saying I think there's chance there for other dogs there now to maybe get a crack at Clares Rocket. Yeah, indeed, Sonic, a very impressive winner. I thought Bucko's Dream ran better this week than last week. I was very disappointed with him last week, whereas tonight, on a slow track, he clung in there, and he wasn't all that far away at the line, and we know what he's about. Who's to say if he keeps qualifying, he can't go around the corner in front of Clares Rocket in the final. You never know. Yeah, and then if there's trouble in behind, like he's the fastest to the corner other than Clares Rocket for me. But he definitely stuck it out a little bit tough for tonight. He sort of didn't fold necessarily last week when he got past, but he gave up the lead a little bit easier than we all expected. But tonight he did try and stick to it, and look, he's a very, very young dog with only 9 races under his belt. He's never been out of first 3 in his life, and he's only going to get better with racing.
Indeed, we move on now to the final heat of the round, and this went to Kilgraney Ace, a great old servant, I'm a great fan of his, I must say, for quite some time. People were concerned about the 4 draw because he is such a wide runner at times, but when you consider that 5 and 6 aren't what you'd call lightning starters, now as it was, it didn't really matter because Kilgraney Ace hit the lids. It's not what he always does, but perhaps the middle draw was the key for that, and once he trapped, he thoroughly outpointed Drive on Tip, and Clonbrine Hero, you can sort of rule him out. He took a wallop in the first few yards, never really got into his full stride, and then was really clinging on, and in the end was collared by Typical Ash for the 3rd qualifying spot. But this race was all about Kilgraney Ace. Yeah,
it was over for me at the start. Even if the 1 and 2, I don't think I'd have collided, because I think Kilgraney Ace is that strong. He's very, very strong. I was one that didn't like him out of trap 4. I thought that was his chance gone. I thought 1 and 2 would dictate this race. However, he absolutely pinged tonight. He definitely done his fastest sectional so far. He runs so wide. We keep on saying, and what times he would do if he could even just keep a middle berth, it would be unbelievable. For raw ability, he's as fast as anything there is in this competition, but because he goes so wide, gives away so many lengths, it works to his disadvantage. But I think Clonbrine Hero very, very much unlucky to go out tonight. Had an up in for the bump, and he was nailed on the line by Typical Ash, another young dog for Jerry Holian. But yeah, for me, Kilgraney Ace, savage ability, getting better with racing. Thomas is obviously, Ace is obviously happy that Thomas came back from America.
Indeed, Kilgraney Ace. What I thought the key was tonight, that he did hit the lids running, but so too did one drive on tip, but it was the early speed that Kilgraney Ace showed. He really has it everywhere. He goes up strong, he flies down the back, and he stays like a train. Like, if he wasn't running so wide, this fella could do any sorts of clocks.
Oh yeah, that's it. I genuinely do believe he's as fast as anything in this competition, but he just does give away so many lengths going wide, and he's not going to ping the lid like that every night, unfortunately. That's just not his running style. But if he's within 2 lengths of anything off the second bend, he'll give you another length or 2 off the last bend, but he will not be far away. He's so strong coming home.
Drive on tip was in second. He's a different dog when he's in front. We know that about him. And Typical Ash is still there. The dog that was bought for $3,500 at the sales last year. Dreams could still come true.
Yeah, and look, he was very impressive to get up to catch Clonbrine here on the line. Never gave up his belt, and 2 wins already in the competition. He's flying, and Jerry, a shrewd man with a greyhound, so who knows, he might be in the semi-finals.
Things are starting to heat up.
Yeah, they are. Look, there was cause for concern, massive concern when Clares Rocket was absolutely blitzing everything, but tonight he blitzed the race, but definitely the pack are closing in a little bit.
Indeed, you heard it. Clares Rocket, they're coming after him, Kevin reckons. I still think he's the one to beat. We all still think he's the one to beat. But let's find out next week when we're down to the final 24 in the BoyleSports Irish Greyhound Derby.